Right.
Babe, are the cameras HD?
Please go wild and crazy for the fantastic Diane Spencer!
Hello! Thank you so much. It is so lovely to see you all. So, as many of you know, this show will go on my wondrous YouTube channel, which is nice. I don't know about you, but I love watching YouTube. Like, I'm a consumer as well. And my favorite thing is ASMR. Okay, I now know who the perverts are. Okay. So if you don't watch ASMR stands for Auto-Sensory Meridian Response, which is a very posh way of saying tingles. So you put your headphones on and this person will whisper at you. They'll say, welcome, 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 welcome to my ASMR, video. And then they will make disgusting noises like... And you're there going, and my question is, as I'm watching this, am I supposed to be masturbating? Because I'm getting lots of tingles, I'm very much enjoying it, but the visuals do not add up. Like, usually there's somebody going, and I think, well, maybe if I hold the phone down there. But that's it. You look like you're fighting through the undergrowth, my darling. You just persevere. Like, there was one lady who even elicited the tingled response using inanimate objects. And one of them she did was crinkling paper. And I thought, no, I am not going to get a wide on at that. Because that is going to make Christmas awkward. I don't want to be sat there with my beloved family. They start unwrapping their presents. I'm like, oh, steady on, guys. Suddenly I feel like I've sat on and slid off the turkey. No. So for those of you who have never seen me before, welcome. I like to define myself the same way I think I'll be described on an autopsy table. Yep. 5'10", ginger, bruising around the vagina. I'm married and we're both clumsy. I'm a very layered person emotionally and physically, and we always try to make love in the correct way, like they do on the films, you know, where they look at each other and they go, I love you, and then you swoop into action. But no, sadly, my one, she's like, so, oh no, try again. Swoop, no, okay. Like, have you ever tried to give a dog medicine with a spoon? And then when he eventually kind of gets in there, he ends up just tucking stuff in, pulling stuff out. I'm like, you're trying to make an origami swan with a sausage, babe. It's not gonna work. I end up looking like a towel cupboard. Someone's yanked the middle one out. I don't know if 50% of you don't have vaginas, but they are very unreasonable organs. They really are. I'll just be out having a wondrous day, talking to my friend, thinking, isn't life glorious? And then halfway through, out of nowhere, my vagina will go. What can I do? I just stand there looking at my friend as if to say, what has fallen out of me now? I had some pancakes earlier, was it that? So yes. So thank you for coming to my show. So this story story begins just after we finished the last lockdown. And a lot of us comedians hadn't been able to perform, and we were worried that when we came back, we wouldn't be able to connect with you. We were worried somehow we'd lost that touch. And I was doing this gig, and it was going quite well. And then just at the end of my set, a woman heckled out of nowhere. She went, "I hate you!" My first instinct, had I been, match fit, I would have said something clubby, like, "Shut up, Mum!" "I told you to wait in the car." And I did what I always do when I get heckled. I took a deep breath, but then I froze, which is unusual for me. I just kind of went, and she kept on yelling, and she was like, "They shouldn't book this kind of thing. This is terrible. Apart from your masturbation jokes, I hate everything you've said." I didn't know what to say. I was whizzing through my whole set thinking, well, what was so great about the masturbation jokes? What else did I say? Do I call her a wanker? Or is wanker a good thing? Is it a bad thing? And I didn't know what to say, and I sort of mumbled the rest of my set, and I shuffled off. And the next day, out of nowhere, I just tensed up. Like my throat just went, "Huh!" And I just sort of tensed up, and I just keeled over. Have you ever seen those goats that faint? That was my spirit animal, yes. They're called myotonic goats. Like, once they kind of tense up, they can't untense, so they kind of go, keel. Not to be confused with a myopic goat. That's a funny little fellow that needs glasses. So I got sent for a blood test, which is very hard to revise for. And can I be careful? I have to be so careful when I do this bit of material because I'm a fainter. Yes, I faint at the sight of blood. Yes. Once a month I have to wear a cycling helmet to the toilet. And I don't know if you've ever been rung up by a doctor who is trying to keep the note of panic out of their voice. Oh, it's thrilling. The doctor rings me up and she says, "Hello, Diane. I hope you're well. We've got the results of your blood test back. I've rung your pharmacy. I've Googled it. It's only 800 yards from your house. I don't suppose you could make it there today, maybe this afternoon." I was like, what have I got? Aside from clearly not much time. She said, "You've got anemia." And I said, "No, I remember everything." But namaste, namaste. And then she said, "Anemia!" And I was like, I have got that wrong. So I quickly put, she's still on the phone chatting away, and I put anemia into the search engine, and admittedly, I wish I'd got out of PornHub first. Can I tell you something? PornHub doesn't know what anemia is either. PornHub became like Google and said, "Did you mean anesthesia?" I was like, ew, no, but I clicked on it, yeah. Can I tell you, anesthesia on PornHub? It's a Russian lady. And she likes to sit on cakes. Isn't that fun? She's fine. She takes the candles off. So the doctor's still chatting away, and I thought, oh, okay. So I quickly put anemia into the dry search engine. Got a very dry answer, and it said, "Yeah, anemia, you're not making enough hemoglobin, you're not carrying enough oxygen around your system, you're very weak, you're very tired." And I was like, right, I get it, okay. My blood cells have less luggage allowance than Ryanair. Fine. Fine. And it also said you have very few blood cells, and the doctor confirmed this. You see, you've all got approximately 6 pints of blood, right? You are doing ever so well, live your life, namaste. I've got approximately 4. They just make their way to where they're needed. I'm basically a lava lamp. And the doctor said to me, "This explains why you're so pale and so cold." Thanks. I will tell the rest of my coven. And I am cold. Like, I'm a very cold person, physically cold. Like, when I go to make love on my husband. We've been married a while now. We just take it in turns. And I touch him. The first thing he does is this. He goes, ah! Nah, it's gone back in, babe. It's gone back in. Can you do something? Our lovemaking begins like this. Stay still. My husband once said it's like getting into bed with a raw chicken. I can assure you I'm not as well plucked. And because I don't fall asleep straight away because I'm so cold, I just lie there in the dark. Cold, pale and still. And I watch him sleep. And then he always wakes me up first thing in the morning in our special way by blowing into my mouth and thumping me on the chest. Do you know what? It's actually one of the many reasons I'm glad my husband isn't circumcised. Yes. Well, if you were going to go into sub-zero temperatures willy first, you'd want to put your hood up too. So the doctor says, I'm going to prescribe you some pills. Okay, this should help. And I was like, right, well, let's hope I remember to take them with the old anemia. And then I thought, what if they cure me? And then we discover my husband has a thing for anemic women. Like we've never known it's been his thing before. And one day he just takes my hand and it's warm. And he's like, this is not the cold, clammy, lifeless hand of the woman I married. I can feel a pulse. What will he do then? We already know PornHub can't help him. I told this to my mum, and my mum went, oh, you should go see our new nutritionist. You see, my mum and my dad, they both have dietary issues, so they got a new nutritionist. My mum is a diabetic, so she's type 1, so every Easter, she would hide our eggs, we would hide her insulin. Death by chocolate, real thing in our house, real thing. And my dad has what you would call a liquid diet. Yeah, in that when you go around to my parents' house, my dad will go, do you want a drink? And you'll be like, it is 1 p.m. Okay. And he'll say, 1 finger or 2. Now, you think that means like that, right? Because that's 1 shot of whiskey, that's 2 shots of whiskey. Oh no, my dad measures like this. Those are the 2 fingers my dad will give you of whiskey, right? I remember when I was growing up, I didn't realise it, but it's been there throughout my whole life. Like, when we were little, we went to see Cinderella at the cinema, right? It's the 2D cartoon version. And I'm sat there, I'm there, and my sister is there, my mum and my dad. And I remember during the ballroom scene, my dad leans over and says, now remember, girls, if you ever go to a do that posh, there's going to be a free bar all night. And my mum went, well, maybe Cinderella could go a whole night without drinking. And then Dad went, maybe Cinderella did the fucking hoovering when somebody asked her to. And I don't remember the end of the film. Even... Oh, bless you. Even when it was like Christmas, I remember my dad, oh my God, I went round to the other kids and I said, remember to leave a bottle of sherry out for Santa. The other kids went, it's a glass. And I went, what are you talking about? There's elves, there's Mrs. Claus, there's reindeer. You've got to give it to the whole factory. Another friend of mine lost a tooth. And I went, don't worry, we'll get you your money. That's how I opened. We'll get you your money. And she went, well, I'll just put the tooth under my pillow. I went, wrong, we need to find you a miniature. And she said, what's that? And I said, well, you know how adults have big bottles of vodka? You can get little bottles of vodka. They have them in hotels, and my Barbie has lots. You get the little bottle of vodka, you put it underneath, because my dad told me the tooth fairy is so small, she can only manage the little bottle with her aerodynamics. And when she finds the little bottle of vodka with the tooth, she's like, good girl, and leaves you a tip. Yeah. No bottle, no tip. So I go to this new nutritionist, And she was like covered in the sort of banners and symbols, and she was like, okay, sit down, tell me about your blood. I was like, is this what happens when you drink too much oat milk? Does it affect your jawbone density? Is that what's going on here? And I said, okay, well, I did a blood test and I failed. Done. And she went straight up the wrong tree. She went, oh yeah, so tell me about your period. And I went, okay, it's once a month and it's horrible. And she went, is it heavy? And I went, yeah. And she went, tell me, do you have organic tampons? I said, well, I'm not growing them. And she went, oh, you must try them. And she gets this little box and she went, you see, they are 100% cotton. And I went, okay, sounds good. She went, they're so good for you, no irritation. I said, sounds magic, great for the environment. Okay, cool. And she went, and they're compostable, so when you're done with them, you can bury them in your garden. Now, don't get me wrong, I realise what has happened here. Like, clearly, the Earth is dying. We need to do something about that. And one of the things we can do is blame the women. I'm on board with the plan, right? But the problem is that whoever has created this, I think it's a fabulous product. I think the marketing angle of burying it in your garden is way off. That person, that PR executive has clearly never had a period in their life. Because when I have one, I don't feel like recycling much. I don't even feel like a functioning member of society. I feel like what I am, I'm basically an in pain, inflamed, constipated, feral, wounded animal. And at that point in my life, this PR guru somewhere wants me to take my used item, sneak into my garden in the middle of the night, scratch a hole in the dirt, and bury my dead period. No. Like, I get it. Like, but what they don't understand is that there is a fantasy, believe it or not, when you buy a tampon, there's a fantasy sold. And that fantasy is anything below the waist does not exist. That's the fantasy. You buy the fantasy of this is not happening. And it's kind of hard to live that fantasy when the end of your garden looks like it's being used as a World War I field dressing hospital. I have to go out at night time. I can't do it during the day because I have neighbours. And they want to know what I'm doing. I can't just walk out and be like, oh, yeah, oh, hi, Mavis. Plus, I'm so lazy. Like, I hate gardening. I hate being outside. Once I've dug one period pit, that'll be it. I'll be like, oh, fuck it. And I'll just be like opening the kitchen window, just, woo! 5 points. Like, my husband loves gardening. I don't. All I'm going to do is ruin his garden, because I'll be like, pat, pat, pat. Pat, pat, pat. They'll be like, have you got moles? And he'll have to say, no, worse, a woman. Maybe he should swap me in for some kind of electronic woman. You can buy them now. Yeah. Charge them at the mains. I've heard they're quieter. I said to the woman, well, if you really think that tampons are the issue with my blood, how about we just ignore tampons altogether? I could try a cork. And she went, oh, okay, let's try something else. And then she sort of broke out into interpretive dance. She was like, how much caffeine do you drink? And I went, normal. 6 or 7 cups. And she went, oh! And I went, that's not a lot. I read a fact somewhere that Americans drink 656 million cups of coffee a day. I'm only drinking 7. And she went, caffeine inhibits iron absorption. I was like, please don't do this, please. I'm over 40 now, I've given up all the fun drugs. I've only got ibuprofen, caffeine, and Amazon Prime left, that's it. And she went, caffeine inhibits iron absorption, inhibits the development of hemoglobin, and lo and behold, you have anemia. I was like, wow, you are what you eat. I drink so much coffee, I am literally becoming flat white. I said to my mum, this new nutritionist, why have you got her? I don't like her. And Mum went, oh, you know the old nutritionist? I said, yeah. She said, she died. What do you mean she died? What, she was hit by a bus? No, just died. I said, nutritionists can die? Well, what's the point? They're the ones eating all the soybeans and the mushrooms and they can drop dead. I was like, well, fine, I'm giving it up now. Giving it all up. I reckon take a dead nutritionist, bury that in the garden. I think you'll get a very good vegetable patch. Yeah? So, I went home to my husband and I said, babe, I've got to give up coffee. And he went, not around me, you're not, no. He's lovely, my husband, but he's always trying to help me in his way. Do you know what I mean? Like he said, come to the gym with me, babe. Have you ever been to the gym? Ugh, yuck. No. I went there and I was like, well, what are we supposed to be buying? Like, nothing has a price and it's all in like, what is this? Is this silly money? What's a 6 kurg? 7 kurg. Is that Hungarian? What is it? And he kept picking the same thing up and putting it down. I was like, do you want it or not? I was like, this is the guy who criticizes me for picking up the same dress twice in TK Maxx, right? This guy. Then he said, let's go cycling. Ew, have you ever sat on a bicycle? I didn't realize this. I have bones in my fanny. Like, I didn't realize I have 2 pairs of elbows. I have this pair of elbows up here, and I have another special pair down there. And every time we went over a bump, it just went smash, and I ended up with cystitis. I don't call it a relaxing ride in the countryside if I'm pissing crystals for a week. In the end, my husband went, let's go cycling again. I'm like, hey, I've got a better idea. Let's just cut out the middleman, right? Let's not leave the house. Just roll me down the stairs, kick me in the vagina. We're done. I like to do yoga. Oh, yes, I love it. And I'm learning yoga off YouTube, and I've discovered that if you're really good at yoga, you can sleep anywhere. And I was lying on the floor in a position that many of you yogis will know as Shavasana. And my husband came back from the gym. Now, he sees me lying asleep on the floor, pulled his gym shorts to the side, got his testicles out, squatted over my sleeping face, and gently rested his balls on the bridge of my nose. Anybody else's partner do that when they've been to the gym? So I'm lying there in my lounge in Shavasana, being teabagged. And I'm looking up at my husband like this, because, you know, bless him, he's 48 and one hangs lower than the other. And I'm like, hey, babe, how was the gym? And he's like, yeah, it was great. Shoulder and leg day. How's yoga? And I'm like, I'll be honest with you, the mood's changed. Could you get your balls off my face? And he said, no, it's yoga. Nuts must stay. my mum said, maybe you should go away, get healthy. And I was like, yeah, maybe. And she went, I've made a game about it. I said, I'm sorry, what? And she said, I've made a board game. So when you're bored, we'll play it. She's made a board game. She's made the pieces, the board, the rules, everything. And it's called Get Away. And it's based on what she thinks happens at airports. So we sit down to play, right? We're in deepest, darkest Dorset. My mum is a little bit old, and she'll hate me for saying that. We sit down to play. We roll the dice, we moved a piece, we picked up a card. A drone! I read it because I'm air traffic control. A drone has been spotted on the tarmac. Pause the game for 10 minutes. So what do we do? Well, nothing. There's a drone. They gotta clear it. 10 minutes later, we resume. We roll the dice, we move a piece, we pick up a card. A Romanian man has lost his luggage and there are no translators available. Everybody misses 3 turns. Have you ever played a game where everybody misses 3 turns? It's like an Escher painting. You're like, okay, I'll miss a turn. Now you miss a turn. Now you miss a turn. Now I'll miss my next turn. Now you miss your next turn. We're nearly there. You miss... Dad, I will have 2 fingers. You miss your next turn. We rolled the dice, we moved a piece, we picked up a card. Security! Put your handbag in the oven. I said, why? She went, Di, when I sell this game to the great British public, how many of them are going to have X-ray machines in their houses? None. How many are going to have ovens? All of them. Put your handbag in the oven. Spin the wheel. Green. Green, you have passed security. You can take it out. And what would happen if I hadn't? We switch it on. We rolled the dice, we moved a piece, we picked up a card. Extinction Rebellion are selling cakes on the runway. Okay, I think Extinction Rebellion are more likely to glue themselves to the runway. And she went, oh, Di, have you seen them? They're all my age. Of course they sell cakes. The runway's shut. I went, oh, well, this is a bit of jeopardy. Like, what do we actually do now? And she went, oh, the game has won. So I bloomin' heck, Mum, that's bleak. She's managed to take all the very worst elements of air travel and somehow compress them into one horrible, unwinnable game. It's like, heaven forbid she makes a follow-up game where you go on holiday and you actually get somewhere. You're on holiday in Portugal and you go to a tapas bar, leaving your 3 kids unattended. When you get back, one of them's missing. Roll the dice, call the police. It is dark, you're right. So my husband and I, we did actually go away, right? And Kevin said, I'm going to take us to a beautiful place. It's warm, you'll be warm, and it's full of lemons. I went, well, that sounds nice. And we went to Sorrento in Italy. And can I tell you something? If you're trying to give up coffee, the one place you don't want to go is Italy. Because, oh, they make beautiful coffee. They make it, they drink it. I swear they were speaking it. Because, like, I'm getting mad withdrawal symptoms and I can speak a little bit of Italian. So I'd go up to somebody and I'd say, oh, scusi, dove è la fermata dell'autobus? Excuse me, where is the bus stop, please? And what did I hear back? I'm not sure, but it sounded like, oh, sì, espresso, cappuccino, macchiato. Grazie, latte. My husband said, why don't we sit in the sun and relax? I was like, darling, I'm ginger. I can do one of those things. which one? And then he was like, how about a day trip? I'm like, sounds great. So we decided to go up Vesuvius, the active volcano. And Vesuvius, until that point, had just been the nickname for my husband's bumhole. He's a force of nature. So we take the coach and we get off the coach at Vesuvius National Park. My husband steps out into the glorious Italian sunshine. I descend the coach in my Factor 50 wearing my widest brimmed hat. I tried the sunlight, but I bubbled up like cheese on toast. So I was like, but we're here. So my husband starts striding in a manly way up the volcano. That's so manly. He starts... That's not how my husband walks, but he strides in a manly way up the volcano. I am behind him, weak. Precious, my precious. Come on, precious. Just as we reach the top, where you can actually get to the lip of the volcano, where you can look inside the crater of Vesuvius, we get to the top. What has somebody built on the edge of a volcano? A coffee shop. No. Like, what? How did you get insurance for that? Like, one tiny little volcanic burp. One little bit of magma chamber acid reflux. It's not just the beans that are going to be roasted. That is one place you don't want to hear the phrase, business is booming. How do you get planning permission for building on the edge of a volcano? I can barely get planning permission to build an extension on my house in Surrey. And the only natural disaster there is the neighbour's cat that keeps trying to shit in our courgettes. I said to Kevin, it's a sign. It's a sign. I should have a coffee. And he went, no, babe. And I said, but what if the volcano pops? Maybe the caffeine will outweigh the anemia and I'll make it down the hill. So I go up to the kiosk and it didn't even have a fun name like Java Lava, like nothing fun. And when I did that's what I want, bit of novelty. And when I saw like the currency conversion, I was like, oh, that's £5 for a small black coffee. Yeah, I mean, I paid it because that's what addiction is. And as I took it away, I thought, well, I hope the bloomin' anemia kicks in because I want to forget how much I just paid for that. So after we went up Vesuvius, they took us by coach to Pompeii, the town that had been destroyed by the same volcano. It's kind of a, here's one I baked earlier tour. And can I tell you, Pompeii is amazing. There's all these roads and buildings, and there's one building still which has the roof on it, the brothel. So we queue up to go inside, right? Into this Pompeii brothel, because there's one entrance and one exit. I operate very much the same policy. Even on anniversaries and holidays, yes. And as we get in, because Pompeii was a multicultural city, there's all these pictures of what you can order. All these rude pictures of people having sex in different positions. So it's like Roman internet porn, but you don't have to wait for it to load. It's fabulous. And my two favorite pictures, there was a lady just sat there with her legs open, and she's like this. And there is a gentleman worshipping her temple. Yeah? Well, he's trying to pick the locks with his tongue. Yeah? There was another one, and the facial expressions in this mural were amazing. There's a man like this. Inside another man like this. Inside a lady like this. I'm like, oh my God. That's like having 2 flakes in your ice cream. I get out of the brothel, I nearly walk headfirst into a big stone penis that is pointing out of the side of the building. Because again, multicultural city. So what they did was they carved stone penises pointing at all the nearest brothels. So you could just walk down the street, follow the Grey Cock Road, and you'd end up to where you wanted to be. There was a village notice board, and people had written on the notice board, and this was written by the actual citizens of Pompeii in 79 AD. And there's all these words and writing, but then I saw somebody had graffitied a modern dick. And I thought, oh, for goodness sake, there's cock all over this town. Why did somebody have to ruin a village notice board, a historical monument, with that? And instantly the tour guide stopped me and went, no. That phallus was drawn by the people of Pompeii in 79 AD. The phallus was a symbol of prosperity and good luck. I was like, wow, you should see my local train station. I did not realise what a place of prosperity and good luck it is. But can I tell you, the way it was drawn like any of us could have drawn it today. Like, and I thought, wow, because that's been there for about 2,000 years. In the 2,000 years that human beings have been doodling dicks on things, dick graffiti has never moved on. We've never had a futurism period. We've never gone cubism with our dicks. We've never gone watercolour. We always draw them the same way. Like they're looming over you, like they could have Emirates written up the shaft. And they're always drawn from the perspective of the passive observer. I observe your erection. Namaste. They are never drawn from the perspective of the active participant. This is how I see my husband's phallus. Understandably, in this illustration, I'm probably kneeling. And can I tell you, I must admit, it does sort of have a Mona Lisa quality when I look at it like this. It sort of follows me around the room, you know. Sort of Mona Lisa was a one-eyed pirate. Yeah. As I was walking around this phenomenal city, I sort of felt like something was missing, and I suddenly realised what it was. I'm walking along these roads, these large Roman roads, and suddenly I realise there's no dead bodies. Yeah, that's a bit of a creepy thought, but it's relevant because Pompeii is so unique. Everybody died in 15 minutes because when the volcano popped, it hit them with a pyroclastic cloud. It exploded with 100,000 times the force of the atomic bomb. That's like, in modern terms, that's like the explosive power of 4 tweets about trans people by J.K. Rowling. That's what cancelled Pompeii. But when they dug them up, like 1,500 years later, they just found cavities. They poured plaster of Paris into the cavities, and that's how they found all the people lying there. They were lying all over the road. There were animals all over the road, but none of them were there. And my first thought was, is it a class thing? Is it because they were just the normal people? Like, if you want to go see the dead body of a tyrant, you can. You could go see Lenin, Mao Zedong, Kim Jong-il. Tutankhamun is doing a tour of British museums. He's fucking dead, and he's got more gigs than me. And I said to my mum, I said, well, there weren't even any bodies in the gift shop. I know that's not really something you'd put on TripAdvisor. Like, take home a little dead body. I just thought it looked nice on the fridge. Yeah, TripAdvisor, yeah. Food, 5. Travel, 4. Corpses, 0. And my mum went, oh, that's a shame. I was hoping there'd be lots of them so you could just snap a toe off and bring it home for me. That's why there's no dead bodies in Pompeii. Because tourists are like my mum. Tourists are terrible. Can you imagine if they were all still there? There'd just be busloads of school children sat on their faces eating their packed lunches. There'd be people snapping bits off. I've got a nose. Like, There'd be drunk people putting traffic cones on their heads, taking photos. This is the bloke come out on holiday. Look at him, he's more plastered than me. It's a very weird thing as well to walk around a town that you know has been destroyed by a volcano, and that volcano is still within sight of that town, and it's still active. And the moment I nearly said, "There's no dead bodies," out loud, I thought, I'm not gonna. In case the volcano hears me and says, "Well, I can correct that for you if you like, madam." Everything's still churning away. I would say that the modern equivalent of Pompeii would actually be Soho in London. Well, if you think about it, you know, like on a cock ratio, possibly. Also, there's a lot. Give me a cheer if you've been to Soho. Oh, yay! Give me a cheer if you haven't. Oh, well done. Don't worry, it's not a prerequisite to be at the gig. Well, if for those of you who haven't, just imagine a cobbled Victorian street, some flags, and everything's covered in jizz. That's pretty much it. It's like the kind of town that if it did get smited by a natural disaster, there'd been some arsehole come out and go, "It's because everybody was having fun down there. God had to destroy it." I nearly got a job in Soho. Yeah. So a few weeks after we got back, the perfect job came up for me. And it was working in Soho all the time from sort of dawn till dusk. It was to be part of a male strip troupe. Yeah, no, not in that way. Although I do have big, hairy ginger bollocks. No. I was going to audition to be the female host. So basically the shouter at the meat market, right? And I was so very excited, and I turned up to the audition, and it's an American team, and I said, "Can I just say, I'm really excited about auditioning for this because I'm going to be brilliant at hosting the strip night, and I'm really good at hen-dos." And the woman went, "Great, I love your enthusiasm. What's a hen-do?" And I nearly said, "It clucks." But I wanted the job, so I had to stop myself. I went, "Oh yes, I'm so sorry, yes." So in the United Kingdom, we would call it a hen-do. In America, you would call it a bachelorette. I call it a last chance finger buffet. She said, "Great." And I said, "Yes, I can picture it. I know what will happen." I said, "I will walk on stage in front of your audience. It's 300 in this theatre that I was going to perform to, right? So in my mind, that's 296 hens and 4 giggling gay guys." I'm like, this is my crowd. And at first, they'd all be like, "Well, wait, we're here to see the men. Why is there a lady on stage?" I say, "Well, this is what I'm going to say. Hey, don't worry, everybody. Look, before we get started, I'm so sorry. We need to do a fire safety check." Thank goodness some firemen have turned up. Yeah, you got it. So then the firemen all come on carrying a hose. The music starts. They're strippers. And they've got their hose and they start swinging the hose around. And everybody just goes nuts. Now, at the point everybody goes nuts, you can see who's in the crowd because controlling a hen-do is difficult because there are different people within that group. The main ones that you have to look after are what I call the Amazons. Yes? So they are the ones wearing the veils, or they might have some like gnarly tiara. They've usually got a little bit of war paint, and they've got like the stick-on nails because they want to grab the stripper, but they know they're going to have to ditch the evidence at the end of the night. And they've got that attitude of like they've staggered off a Vietnam War film, but instead of cutting ears off villagers, they're gonna saw cocks off all the men. And they're gonna wear them with their dick earrings and their dick necklaces. "These are my trophies." And you can spot them because the second the strippers walk on stage, those women lose their shit. They're like, "Ah! Get your cock out!" Ah! I love them. Now, next to them, you've got, like, you could see the quieter ones, and they're the ones who are like, you have the blinkers and the squinters. So you've got the blinkers who are like this. And they're going, "I'll remember that, I'll remember that, I'll remember that." They're storing it all up for the wank bank. Remember that, remember that. And then you've got the people like me. I'm a squinter, so I'm like this. Oh, yeah. I might even clap along. Because if I squint hard enough, oh, now he looks like that bloke in that film I fancy. Yes. Dance for me, Jason Statham, dance. Show me the Meg. So while that is all happening, I'm off stage, right? Now, I've worked for 10 seconds. 10 seconds. What am I doing off stage for 4 minutes while these firemen dance? I'll tell you what, I am working on my charity. Yes, I have decided to build a charity where I take second-hand, high-visibility safety wear and I put it on woodland creatures so they won't get hit by cars. I'm calling it Gear for Deer. And I have to match up all the gear and the deer. And my husband said, it sounds like you fucked up Narnia. I said, what do you mean? He said, it sounds like you've turned Mr. Tumnus into a drugs mule. I was like, yeah, thanks, babe. Yeah, that's what I did. Do you know what? Yeah, just pile Narnia on the women as well. Eve ate the apple. She fucked up Eden. Women bleed everywhere. They fucked up the earth. Oh, Di's given a bum bag of ecstasy to a fawn. Oh, she's fucked up Narnia. Watch out for Mr. Tumnus. He's getting high on his own supply. Welcome to Narnia. Dance, motherfuckers. Fucking fucked up Narnia, my ass. So I'm there typing away, right? Now at this point, the music and the women are reaching their climax. Oh yes! And the men have got to that point where they're just holding their helmets over their helmets. And this is the point that everybody is waiting for, because fantasy is about to collide with reality. We've been theorizing up until now. We've been imagining what is going to be there. We don't know. And then suddenly, the reveal, Schrodinger, the box is open, the pussy is alive. As soon as we see it, all the Amazons, because that's the bit they're gonna eat. All the blinkers and squinters, same reaction, sharp focus. And I'm backstage, yes, I found a high-vis vest for a badger. And that is how the evening occurs. I come back on, the men, they curtsy, they walk off, the women, there's so much, like, hormones in the air. Some of the bar staff, the weaker ones, they're gonna change sex. There's so much estrogen. Some of them walked in with pecs, they're gonna sashay out with tits. And everybody's flustered. I walk in, I go, is everybody okay? And all the women go, oh yeah, we're fine. And they like me now. They know who I am, because I am the plot line in the porn. I'm not here to get in the way. I'm just here to grease the wheels. I say thank you so much, ladies, for bearing with us through that tricky time. We did notice when we were doing the fire safety thing that the theatre needs a bit of work. We've had to get some builders in. Let's hope they bring a wrecking ball. Walk off, yeah. You got it. And it just goes on and on and on. And the men dance and the women cheer and animals can safely cross the road. We are all united by this symbol of prosperity and good luck. And thanks to me, there is a Roman road in Britain, the A303, with no dead bodies on it. That's it. Yes. So I explained this to the lady and she went, no. She went, okay. Here's the script. Oh. So I take the script and I'm like, I'm talking a lot. And she went, yeah, you talk at the top for 15 minutes. You do this really inspiring monologue about creating a safe space, about female empowerment, about feelings and consent. I'm sorry, safe space for who? Because I'm not going to be safe if I read this. You want me to cock block 300 drunk British people for 15 minutes without a riot shield? Can I please have one of those outfits they used to train police dogs with? Like something just to take the fake nails? Like female empowerment? What? I don't think anybody's turning up to a strip show for a TED Talk. I think most people turn up because they want to find out what whipped cream and baby oil taste like. And they want to lick it off a white man, a brown man, and a black man, and then go, did it taste different? I don't know. Let's try it again. Science. Like... That's what they want to do. You know the Amazons, those scary women, they're like that because they want to be the apex predator for just 2 hours of their lives. They want to be the roaring beast. And I know what an apex predator is. And I would never stand between a Tyrannosaurus Rex wearing a veil and a goat and go, you are a strong, empowered female dinosaur. Believe in yourself. I'm gonna lose a leg, mate. I'm gonna lose a leg. What do they mean, consent? And this was what got me the tickets for that show. This show that I'm auditioning to be a part of, the tickets are £125. Yeah, and if you're paying that much money, I would say you've consented. The moment you've walked through those doors to have the strippers' naked buttocks rubbed on your face. I'm guessing some people believe that kind of action should be included in the entrance fee. And I said to the woman, but surely the women go a bit feral when, you know, you say, when the strippers get naked, surely everything just goes out the window then, you know. And she went, the strippers never get naked. They never show the D. That would be vulgar. I was like, ooh, I better throw out my laptop. If you look at my internet search history, it's a very vulgar piece of equipment. There's a whole historical town in Italy we need to re-cancel. It's covered in vulgarity. Vulgar, what an interesting notion. In Soho, in London. I was like, I don't know if you have noticed where this show is taking place, madam, but being as you are in Soho, if you look out the window, you will see that the local newsagents are selling anal beads. You can't really be vulgar, it's a mathematical impossibility. How is it vulgar to suggest that somebody fancies a man so much that they want to see him dance naked whilst they're drinking Prosecco? I can't see a single vulgar thing about that. And it's weird. And then I did some research and I discovered that the strip club where the ladies take their clothes off is literally one road over. Entrance fee, £20. As soon as you walk in, there is some gorgeous lady just spinning round a pole. Everywhere there's just these beautiful women. You want a personalised lap dance? 35 quid. That's £55. This show is all about female empowerment. They're charging women £125 and they're not even giving them a tip. Not one tiny little bell end. Not something just so small that my mum could snap it off and take it home in her handbag. I found it, it's mine. I didn't realise the value of a naked man compared to a naked woman. Think of all those dick pics I've been sent for free. Thank God none of them sent a follow-up invoice. I should take all those dick pics to be valued. I shall seek out a pawnbroker. I was like, if you're not going to reveal the package, if you're not going to break the boundary between fantasy and reality, you're just going to end up with a room full of blue clitorises. It's going to look like a room full of women giving birth to Smurfs. And I said, why do you want a female compare? Why a woman? Because if you're going to do this talk for 15 minutes, have a gorgeous man on stage. Have something that everybody can stare at. And she said, great question. When a woman introduces a man to a group of women, those women know that that man is safe. Oh, the Epstein Principal. I am nobody's Maxwell. So a couple of weeks later, I was walking past the exact same theatre, and do you know what? They had updated their advertising. I'm walking around the whole time thinking, I'm right about my attitude towards that show. And then I see the advertising, and it's got a woman hugging an older woman, and the advertising slogan they went with, next time, we're bringing Gran. And I'm just like, have I misunderstood what female erotica is? Never in my life when I'm watching something really sexy. Never when I'm there kind of going, oh my God, this is pretty hot stuff. I think I'm going to slide off my seat. Never when I'm getting really into it, I go, oh my God, where's Nana? Nana! This is really sexy! Nana, are you awake? Like, what this porn needs is the smell of Bakewell tarts and lavender. That's what we need. We need to get the family gravy boat in on this. Like, I would never inflict my Nana on a real person. Because my Nana couldn't watch the television for 3 minutes without criticising everything about the people she saw on the screen. And I would no way subject a dancer to her. So we'd be sat there, and this man comes over, and he has been to the gym, he's been to the tanning salon, he's been working on his moves, he's got it all going for him. He starts dancing in front of my Nana, and what does she say? You've got long hair for a boy. This isn't music, call this a job. Sorry. No. And I got a bit confused, right? I thought, but I'm right. I can't be wrong. And then I looked at the reviews of this show. I'm wrong. I'm actually wrong. Like, I was like, ah! Like, there were reviews that were 5 star, 5 star, 5 star. They were saying, oh, it's a magical experience that I shared with my daughter. I'm like, I thought, oh God, I'm wrong. Does anybody agree with me? And I scrolled down to the darker parts of the internet, where there are significantly less stars. And there she was. I knew she'd be there, my lady. And her review was titled, 125 quid and no dick. And her review began, they charged me £12.75 for a single whiskey. What? That's that! That's not even that! That's that! I was like, oh my God. And she said, some woman kept talking, and I don't know why. I was too drunk to hear anything she was saying, but it didn't sound very good. Other people were booing and throwing stuff. Oh, I know. And she said, and finally when the men came on, yeah, they were good at dancing, but they never took off their jeans. Jeans? Gee, you can't even make out the shape of a little budgie in jeans. There's nothing. And she said, I don't know what I wanted, but it wasn't this. It was the most unerotic thing I've ever seen. I wish I'd handed my fanny in with my coat. I thought, what a courageous woman. I mean, you've got to admit, sometimes there would have been moments where you wish you could have handed in your genitalia with your coat. Stop you snogging the mingers when you're younger. Hey, you get a bit too drunk. Just me. The problem is that if you did hand something like that in, you know, it's one of your most precious items. You'd be like, take care of her, she is an heirloom. But if I handed my fanny in with my coat, I'm the kind of person who loses my ticket. Have you ever lost your ticket? You have to wait till the end of the evening. And I would wait, I'd stand there and I'd look inside the room and I'd be like, oh, there's just this sad little pile of unclaimed fannies. One of them's mine. And then you'd have to wait, and then you would have to describe it. So they could get it out of the pile. Hello, my one's orange. Very furry collar. One big pocket. Very large lapels. So, this story now ends about a few weeks after that. And I'm doing a gig. And everything's going fine. And then at the end of the gig, this lady yells at me, and out of nowhere she went, "You're rude!" And I thought, I am. And then she carried on yelling. She went, "You shouldn't be able to perform! This is terrible! Brr, get off!" And I did what I always do. I took a deep breath. What is not new is a dirty joke. A dirty joke is definitely not new. That's why you can go to an ancient city and on the wall there is a mural of a woman grinning like a lunatic because she's having 2 sausages in her morning bap. A dirty joke is something that we've always been able to laugh at ourselves for. That's why when I'm doing my really serious meditation, when I'm trying to align all my chakras, I start giggling because my husband has blocked my 3rd eye with his. So he's teabagging me in our lounge. I get it, but at the same time, I understand some people want a more mellow experience, and that is what I have learned. Some people don't want to have it shoved in their faces. Some people want it to be like choreography of neutered eunuchs. They don't want it to be there. They want it to be this kind of whispered eroticism. Oh, was it erotic? Maybe it wasn't. It's been diluted to a homeopathic level so you could still watch it at work and not limp to the stationery cupboard because you're feeling weird. I get that. But that has always happened. We've always had a range of things. What is new that I have noticed, what is new, is this mad narcissistic belief that everybody should be at your exact point on the spectrum, and anything one way or the other is too puritanical or it's vulgar. Do you know what? Everybody has a choice. And the weird thing is the amount of people who decide that nobody should have a choice if it doesn't agree with theirs. I'm rude. You're rude. You have interrupted a theatrical performance that everybody else has paid for. Everybody else is entitled to listen to and make up their own minds about. I am a knob. This is Pompeii. And to some, I am a rude little doodle, but to others, I am a symbol of happiness and joy. Just because it's right for one person, it's not right for everyone. I have to give up coffee. But if that was the case, then everybody in Italy would have to give up coffee because everybody in Italy would be cold, pale, weak, and tired. Italy would be North Korea, and it's not. Am I glad I gave up coffee? Yes. Would I recommend you give up coffee? Yes. Am I still drinking coffee? Yes. I wish you had a coffee right now, madam. I wish, and I wish it was the creamiest, most fattening thing ever. I wish it was delicious, and I wish it was dribbling all down your chin like jizz, because then you would at least realise you're not the paragon of perfection that you think we should all adhere to. You'd realise that you're entitled to your choice as much as the rest of us, and because you'd have hot liquid in your face, you'd shut the fuck up. And she looked at me for a minute, and I think I was looking at her. It's hard to tell when you're on stage, there's lights. She could have been over there, I don't know. And then she went, "Do you kiss your mother with that mouth?" And I went, "Yes, I do. And my mum kisses me with her mouth, and she's had my dad's cock in hers." Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me and for listening to my show. I really appreciate you spending your time with me. My name's Diane Spencer. Thank you. Please tell me somebody pressed record.
Oh, I've been a fan since COVID started. I dragged her along, and yeah, absolutely brilliant night, great fun.
Oh, it was amazing. We've gone to a lot bigger shows and it hasn't been that fun, so yeah, great job.
It's only taken me 3 years to actually catch Diane live, so it's been a sort of a labour of love, but I just love listening to what she does, and it's great to actually see her in person. And I got the wife to come along as well, and she enjoyed it. As a fellow West Country person, it's always good to see someone from the homeland making good. So it was good. Enjoyed it.
He's a very good comedian. I first found her on Minister of Defence and the headline show on GB News. So I enjoyed her on there. Put it online and this club come up, and so I booked it from there. Yeah, very good.
I feel like I have fever, but it's probably just because I laughed so much. It was amazing. It was really funny. I mean, it's really vulgar, but my favorite parts are all quite rogue, so I guess this shouldn't go on the screen.
It was brilliant, really.
Yeah.